Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
I said the prism comes under where? Prism reports they talk about. The prism report comes when? Suppose you have the stock right. Suppose you have maintained the leave of absence data, the time of data in PeopleSoft, and you want to show the report in Workday that how many leaves a person has taken in the current year. How would you get the data in Workday? How many days a person has taken the leave in a particular month? Yes, for a month or years. Basically, like we select, that select start from employee data. Right? That would do it from PeopleSoft, right? Right, correct? But how would you show that in Workday? I got right. You are maintaining the data in PeopleSoft, but you want to show the data in Workday. Right. Then you have to pull the data from PeopleSoft to Workday, right? Will you be using a query or something like that? From PeopleSoft, where I take query. Right? You take the query from PeopleSoft. You take the output in a comma separated value. Yes, you upload that value into Workday through Prism. Prism is something what helps you to bring data from outside system or source towards Workday. It is not a compulsory thing to do if you don't need any outside data in Workday. We were on. Shruti, one question before we start with this. The previous classes, did you have any question? No, I'm good far. And could you complete the testing or practice reports? Oh, I will do it today. That's fine. You can take your time just before the end of all the sessions. If you have completed, then you have your questions right. Before the end of all sessions, make sure you try those things. It should be something like that. Work in Workday only. It's not like that, Shruti. The people who are good experts in that area, we have to become expert, right? That's true, but I don't feel I'm an expert. For me, you're expert. For you, you're not expert, right? Because I don't do anything about the Workday reports. For me, you're expert. It's like an ocean, right? No, it's a perfect. Yes, yes, correct, correct, correct. Even when people say like, it's a huge ocean, it's a paybone, pay perceivable, like CMEs, nobody can say I'm the master of the payroll. I just end with one thing because it's not the class. In my client space, there is one lady in the Workday, not Workday, in the people's house. She works with a client, everybody my client. You know, most of the people there in the US, they work for 20-25 years for that company. Most of the people before that company is a 125-year-old company, a logistics company. I'm impressed with her. You know, she's turning 60 next year, July, and she's retiring the same time. And we are implementing the Workday by next year, July. She's like expert in the payroll for the people's house. It's like, you know, Einstein, they try to store the brain. They're trying to get her knowledge, preparing another person as a backup for her. That's very important. Now all of us, because the people like having 15, 25, 26 years of experience in a system has a huge knowledge to share, right? That's a huge thing. You know they're working with her to get the knowledge. I suppose I have created this report, SR Advanced Report 1010. This is one advanced report. We have already covered this data source, filter type, business object, all these things. I don't remember, did we do the output as well? This output type chart table. Table you are talking about, but I don't think we finished the thing. The output, share and advance. I feel these three are still remaining. I will do them once we start the matrix. Calculated field. What is a calculated field? Calculated fields help you to create a field which will bring a customized data which Workday did not provide to you. Suppose I have got a report with advanced report. You have gender, but suppose you have gender as male and female, right? But you want to show the gender as M and F. Suppose you have a system in PeopleSoft where you need some data from Workday. It is not like incoming from PeopleSoft. It is like outgoing to Workday. Sorry, outgoing to PeopleSoft from Workday. In Workday, the term is outbound. Can you come again? Yes, suppose you need to get some data from Workday towards PeopleSoft. Out? Yes, the name is outbound, right? That is an integration, right? You have to create integration EIB to do that, right? And inside the other system, suppose they do not identify what is male and what is female. Every system has their own logic, right? Suppose they only take M and F as an input parameter. Workday does not provide you that M and F. You need to create that in that case. That is the example. The task for creating calculated fields is like create calculated field. Now you have multiple functions, aggregate, related instances, arithmetic, calculation field, date, concatenate text. Out of which maybe 7-8 calculated fields. You would need maximum in your system. And few of the calculated fields are really complex ones, which is not good to go in your first few months. Because that would be really tough for anyone to analyze the thing. Suppose you have for this one, I would take evaluate expression. You have to remember the type of calculated field. For which type, what calculated field I am using. Suppose your junior research in your company gives you this requirement and is not able to understand what is the calculated field they should use. This is the field that evaluate expression. Function. You have to select it in the function. What should be the name of the calculated field? The name of the calculated field should always start with CF. That is the naming convention. After the CF, you have to give the type of the calculated field. For this one, this is evaluate expression, that means EE. This is a naming convention in any of the Workday projects, and 90% of the Workday resources maintain this kind of naming convention. Now you have to make a gender. Suppose you give this m/m and business object. What business object should you use if you want to use this calculated field inside this report? Can you tell me, Srini, which business object I should use? The report name. Your right says worker, their primary business object, right? I am trying to create this calculated field and I have to select the business object. The gender will be like employee information or employee business object like worker business object. The worker business object, because if you want to use a calculated field in any of the report business object and the calculated field business object should always match. Otherwise, you can't find it. It's like Maharashtra is in India. You cannot find it from Africa. Right. The match should be same. The primary business object should be same in both of the cases. It should be right place. If I select education here, you won't find the business object. Calculated field while searching it, right? And now you see field type. Field type. What would I select? You can just share your idea. By this example, field type. This is like gender we are selecting. That should be character text. These are all, very familiar with anybody working in any system. Can you go back to the field type 1 type? What is this? Single instance, multi-instance. I was able to understand. Default value. If the gender is male, it would show M. If the gender is female, it would show F. If the gender is not male or not female, it would show others. That is the requirement I have to create. If you write any programming language code, if gender is equals to M, it prints M. Sorry, male, it prints M. If gender is female, it prints M. There is always an else condition, right? If else, if else. The default value is the else. I would like to print O here. I have to create O. O. First, I will go to create calculated field and say, first I'll select the function. I would like to print O here. Text. Constant is the type of the function. That means I will directly print O as in hard coding. and the field name should be TCO. The name should be self-explanatory, if not 100%, but to some extent. And what should be the business object I should choose here? That it would be available inside the report. As per my previous logic, it should be worker right. But I will use global here. Because this should be O for anywhere, right? Because this is one field, what we can reuse? Local variable, global variable. One day is just like another language. Programming language inside this. The concept is same, but the application style is different. Now I have to check the if condition right. What does the if condition returns in any programming language? If returns a Boolean value right, is it true or is it false? True or false condition? Correct? Now I have the condition via calculated field. And if you see in the function, you have true, false condition. You have to select true, false condition here to check whether the value is matching with male. Gender is male. Clear on this one. Why I should select true, false condition? Now this is one tricky area. My target is to return the value of true or false condition depending on gender. I'm trying to check if gender is male, it would return M. Now I go select gender in the field. Operator means the checking. How would I like to check? I would select in the selection list. Comparison value specified in the filter. Now you see male and female. I'll select me. Now you are asking what is a single instance field. You see the sign like this? It's like one-to-one relationship. In most of the fields I see that. What does it mean? That means there would be only one type of gender for one employee. One employee cannot be male and female both in the same situation, right? Let's what example will give one to many. Suppose an employee is currently male and he has transformed or had some operation to make him a female. Suppose there should be a field which will give all his or her historical genders. He had been through her life or his life. Same then it would be a one-to-many relationship. Then the sign should be like this, 1, 2, 3. You see. This is just one example. For this one, I would take gender. Now, what is the difference between single instance and text file? There should be some difference, right? If you see gender and you have some fields which has mentioned as D. These are text files. If I select this thing, previously we were able to see in the selection list, right? But if I select text, you cannot select in the selection list. In the selection list, like you have in the SQL query you give in right. Suppose select star from employee where employee ID in 1 comma 2, 3, 4. That is in the selection list. But here you select equal. Suppose for text file we have the option of equal to or not, equal to or contents. Contents is like where employee ID like 1 to 3% is like we use in the SQL query. That it will select all the employees having 1 to 3 in their employee ID. For our case, I would select. In the selection list and you have male, female not declared and you have 2 females, 2 males. One is like capital M and one is the small m. The small m is a gender what somebody has created. It is not a default. You should not select that. Or else you can select both. If you select both, of which one it will display? It will know, it will check the condition that if the employee is coming into male category or not. It is a condition, a true false check. But is male. But you selected male starting with capital M and the other one. It will check. It will check as in condition if the employee gender in small m and capital M. Anyhow, it would check. I understood that we are kind of adjoining condition and we are keeping both values. But in which scenario it will display like M with capital? In which scenario it will display male with small? No, actually it would show M in both of the cases. We can select anything. It will check with both of the things. Suppose it will show the employee having a capital male, also a small male. Now this is the true false condition or the checking. I would say, and this is a return value if the condition is true. If it is returning yes, then I would need to select M here. I need to give an output of M. Any idea, Srini? What should I select with the function? The name you're talking about? The function should be what? This is for the female. For the male, the output of male. Output of the evaluate expression we already selected. Inside the evaluate expression, we have the condition of checking whether this person is a male or a female. Now I would show the output. It should be MOF, I would have to say. Then if I have to print M in the output, what would be the function? For my text, something related to text constant. Actually, yes, something similar. Text constant, we have to select. And what would be the field name? Field name male, right? And what would be the naming convention? And then whatever is that field name. Name as male. And what should be the business object? The worker one, right? No, look. Oh, sorry, we are local global variables. Male can be used in any other field as well. Any other reports. A calculated field can be used in 2 places. One is a custom report and the second one is another calculated field. That would be called a nested calculated field. Can you come again on the nested calculated field? Suppose this evaluate expression is a calculated field, right? Inside this calculated field, we have created 3 more calculated fields. Right. These are nested calculated fields. One and another. I have checked for male. It has male. I would have to create another for female. The same condition true, false condition. There are two options. We can create it like that, like we did it. The other option is to open the previous calculated field, which would be similar. Save. Copy the name and you go to calculated field and copy. Save as option is copy here. Now I will select as female. Now I have to select gender as female here. And for this one, the output. I will do the same kind of work. I will copy this. I will copy this as female. Sorry, I have done one wrong thing. If you see that my purpose is to show female right. The name should be TC name as female, not aim as female. How do I fix that? I go to calculated fields and edit. Once you edit, I can change the name. E as female. Now once I press, the calculated field is saved. Now if I run the report now, I save the report. Now I'll test it. You can see gender male and female. For female, it is printing F. For male, it is printing M. Are you able to know the reason behind treating this field now? What is that flag automatically coming or you have created? It has been created. I'll show you. That's CFE gender name. Now I'll go to edit. If you go to this gender, you have option added as analytical indicator gender. You can add this photo, pictures or any kind of sign by creating this gender. If gender is male, then blue flag. Gender is female, then purple flag. Gender is not declared, red flag. There is a display option name. Display option. It is coming at a display. Now if I show you earlier the report was showing as it is gender male. That should not be the value, but the user should be sexy. If you run, write the column heading over right here. It is like the alias name of the SQL query. What is who? Okay. This is the output, what we are seeing now. And how would I remove this flag from here? I go to Advanced Report Edit. I will remove the analytical indicator from the options, and that would not show the value again. Now I'll show you education. Last day we were using education in the single simple report. If you see education, it is a multi-instance field, right? Why is that? Because a worker can have multiple education, right? This person has local has two universities. Now, if I want to go to the detail of this education, I should use this as a just if I want to get into the detail of education, I should use the education as the business object, because if you see the education report field, which is a multi-instance field, it's coming inside worker business object. But the related business object is education. Last day, I was talking about the relationship between two tables by some employee idea, something like that. Now, if you related the relation between the secondary business object is a secondary table. Now, if I go to relation the two related business object, we need to leave it related with the subject. If I go here as what? Here is the relation between Walker and education. If I click on 2, these are the fields. What creates the bridge between Walker and education? Now I go to the field and replace Walker with education. Now if I see education, are we doing the same calculated field male, female? No, it is not a calculated field. It is actually a work with a different field. I'm just creating an area where it would show the education row wise. It will split the row. In a report, this field, calculated field, will be taken as a field only. Yes, we're adding as a field. You can add as a field. And here for this one, if you see this education. Now what is this? The multi-instance field, right? And what? For whatever fields, you get a related action. There you can create and open that field in a new window or a new tab on the same window. This is the education location. And if you see the history as well, who has created the education for. This is just for example. Selecting education in the same field. It would show you a location for this employee. And if you see select education with a related business object, it will give you the detail of that education. For example, if I want to use that ER degree receipt, I want to use the ER degree receipt here inside one business object. Are you getting that value, that particular field? I want to use this ER degree receipt here. Are we getting that? ER highest degree receipt is used. But what do you want? I want the ER degree receipt. It is not coming here. It would not come because it is not a field which is residing inside the work and business object. It is not an education business object. What is this icon now for the go back to the ER highest degree? Just be here. Dated date symbol, calendar symbol. It is small. I think if you click there, only it will show now what it is. Once you click that, then only it will show. By just that symbol, we cannot identify in the big report. No, symbol you cannot identify. But you are seeing it in the remote screen there. That's why maybe it is too small. Once you have it in your screen, it could be. Correct? Now, if we select this ER degree receipt, it is showing you as business object education. But if you go to ER highest degree receipt, it is from WordPress. Correct? That is why it is coming inside work and business object and the ER degree receipt coming inside education business object. What are the type of calculated fields you have seen today? One is text constant, one is evaluate expression, and the other is true false condition. True false condition. Your next job. Your work could be adding a field. This should be your homework. But is it not the same what we did now? It is the same. It is the same. But you would create it on your own. Got. That's easy. Let's start with the easy one. Right? Because if it's a complex one, we'll try to avoid it. No, I'll give you another example of it. This would be your another. You can write it down. You're all, maybe take a screenshot. The first one, you already know how would you create. But how would you create the second one? It is not like taking the value. You would have to check a range. Right? You have to check a range. I just need some range. I will just show you here. I would not save it. Right? How would you change the age? You're checking on the age, right? You have to search with age. You have age value, right? You put age here. And what would you select in the operator? Greater than equal to? Will it show range? No, it would be like age is greater than equal to. Oh, it's not. You have to create the range by this. If you want to select, suppose you want the user, you have in the selection list. I'll select again. Suppose equal to. And in the comparison type, you have two options. What is value specified in the filter and the value from another field? If you select value specified in the filter, then you give the 30 or 20 year. But if you select value specified on the field, the Workday provides you an option to select it from the Workday field. Whatever Workday field you want, you can put here. It is needed if you need a dynamic checking for the speed. Suppose today in 2023 we consider that 20 to 30 as beginner, third one to 45 minutes in a year. But supposing 2030 we would consider as 50 to 60 at senior and 31 to 50 as mid-senior. In that case, you would create a calculated field, which will put the values as dynamic things then you would use here. Suppose I give 50. It is already a field and it's a global field. I would select 50. That's the algorithm. Just hold on. Clear on the Shwini. Got. And I will not cover the other type of calculations today, but I will only show you the different options. What we normally do. If you want, you can just write it down. Arithmetic calculation. Arithmetic calculation is a calculated field which would be used to create a logical expression with numbers. Suppose you want to create an average of you have the total salary paid, base pay by total number of employees in a country. You would need arithmetic calculation. Arithmetic calculation is suppose base pay. Here you would only use the numeric calculated fields because numeric fields. Because it's an expression. It's a numeric expression. No other field would come here. And the operator you have to select here. There are two options: plus, subtract, multiply and divide. And how would you create that bottomless rule here? Base pay as of the first year. Actually, suppose you have, I don't remember it now. I have studied it way back. Some multiplications happen first, then the addition. There is a logic like that, right? Multiplication happens, then if suppose 4 into 5, 3 to 4 plus 2 divided by something like the, say, polyurate one, I don't know. No, I am telling, suppose you have 3 into 4. Yes, the calculation is 3 into 4 plus 2 by 9. What would you do it first? 3 into 4, 12 plus 14 divided by, like that. Or you would do the 4 plus 2 first, then that would be multiplied by 3. There is a logic in mathematics, right? If we want to do that addition first. You will have to make it by branches. By branches, we manipulate that. Otherwise, it will be confused, right? Which one would do first? That is just one example. Arithmetic calculation is this. If I go to bill date, bill date is like it would create a date from here, specific year. Suppose you have to make a date constant field. Today is 10th of October. I select 10's date, 10 as month, 10 as 2020 as year. Once you save that, it would return me 10th October 2023. That's the example. And once you have this return blank date on error, always check that your report doesn't get wrong. It's like an exception, or maybe in programming language we call it as exception handling. Exception handling. I go to concatenate text. Concatenate text is easy. Suppose you want to concatenate your first name and your last name, then you do concatenate text. Convert currency converts your value from one to another. Source currency value is USD and you want to convert it to Euro. Then it is needed. Convert text to number. Suppose you have a text value as 10 and you want to use it in an arithmetic calculation. Then you need a number field, right? Then you would convert that 10 as a text field to number, and that can be used inside an arithmetic calculation field. And what was that we call those? Like we have to download that and only we can use those records. But another name was there also. Business Interiors and Reporting Tool. That is a provision. But apart from the bot, something else is there. Is it Prism? No, Prism is different. Prism is different. A prism is how it is different. Prism is different. Prism helps you to get the data from a different source, different data source. Example when we use Prism. If you want to get the time of details from PeopleSoft or SAP, which is not maintained in Workplace, then you would need Prism. And you can do it through, a text file or a comma separated value file. That is how you do it. Thank you. And for another reason also, the Prism can be used. Suppose you have a report from a worker business object and you have a requirement of combining that worker business object and the education business object in all together, which cannot be done because of the constraints in different Workday logic. Then you would need Prism to manipulate the data set. You can create your own data source to manipulate all the problems you have in Workday. Come again, please. Yes, suppose you have the Workday delivered business object right. If you want to create your own business object to manipulate the data in Workday and create your own data structure in your own table, then you would need Prism. Manage the whole data. You want to store your own structure of data inside Workday. You need to create the Prism data set. Is there any example you can show? Example-wise, it would be difficult in this tenant. But suppose you have worker education and your data structure should be named school. Now you have worker certification name agency, your property name. You have different data source for different data right. You have education for education and certification for certification. You want to create a report which will give you a data in this format. Can you do that in Workday? No, you cannot. Different source for different data. We can do. You can do different reports for this one, but inside a single report. If you want to show it like that, name school year pass out, then after the school is completed, you name agency year pass out and name the certification agency and the certification year. Then it is not possible. What was that report? Recall after the Tidy 1 report, something was there. Composite report. By composite report, you cannot achieve this kind of output. There are limitations. Limitations for that. If you want to just cross that limitation and show it like this, you need Prism. The data where it needs to start of manipulation. Table, you can save it. You can save the Workday data inside the table. You can create the table as per your own table structure, own database design. Then you need Prism. Today we covered to convert text to number. You can just from arithmetic calculation to convert text to number. We have covered today and you can. Just did you note them down that? What is the difference or something like that? And if you have not noted, if you go to community, you will find everything. And find some example as well. I would give you your homework today. The same advanced report with these two fields. You already gave now homework. This one. And you complete your previous homework along with this. Any questions from your side? That's it. That's it for now. Thank you. I will disconnect and go to pick up my daughter from school. That I was thinking it. Should we shift this to? Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.